Are you ready to tackle your next real estate adventure? Whether you're hunting for your first home or diving into big league land acquisitions, Array Real Estate is in your corner. At Array Real Estate, they are not just a real estate team, they are your agents for life. Array Real Estate's mission? To help you crush your real estate goals one deal at a time. Array Real Estate's roots run deep in the heart of the Pacific Northwest as proud alumni of the University of Idaho. With offices in Coeur d'Alene and Seattle, the team is here to give you a legendary real estate experience. Your success isn't just a goal, it's their top priority. Everything from cozy homes to land development to commercial spaces, Array Real Estate has you covered. They are all about making your real estate dreams come true with a dash of Vandal pride. Ready to make a move? Visit ArrayRealEstate.com and join the fun on Instagram at ArrayRE. Let Array Real Estate turn your dreams into wins. Array Real Estate, your go-to team for all things real estate and proud sponsors of Vandals Weekly. Array Real Estate will make real estate magic with you. Well, Vandals Weekly back for another week, and Idaho coming off of a very impressive but narrow loss to Washington State a week ago. They lost 13-10 in Pullman, but no rest for the weary. They're back at it, and they have their home opener this weekend against St. Thomas. We're joined now by standout Idaho linebacker Isiah King. Isiah, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Appreciate you for having me.
First of all, let's talk about the defensive performance against Washington State. I watched the whole game, and man, you guys were unbelievable defensively, especially against the run. Holding an FBS team to 3 yards rushing, that's pretty good. Looking at the yards per carry, they were averaging about 0.3 yards per carry, so that's about as good as you can be. What went into the preparation to make you guys so effective defensively, especially against the run last week?
I think it started all in practice. Coaches just preaching physicality and everyone just being locked in on their assignments. And ultimately, I think it carried over to the game and we were able to perform how we did.
You guys have been a physical team these last couple of years, but it seems like that's something Coach Ford is really putting an emphasis on, is playing with an edge. Have you seen that, and how have you guys been able to sort of employ that so far?
Yeah, I for sure see that. And also credits our defensive coordinator, Coach Dennison. He preaches that also. So we all just feed off his energy and it just hypes all of us up.
Yeah, Court Dennison, an interesting one. Really, looking at his resume, he was at a high level coaching there at Louisville, et cetera. And I know that the returns early, Coach Ford has talked about him on this show several times, just about how great of a young coach he is, and it just sounds like it's going really well there. So, how would you just describe his coaching style? What sort of impact has he had on you guys as a unit so far?
His coaching style just take the fight to him first. We're not gonna wait around for nothing. We're gonna punch him in the mouth first, and I think everyone just on the defense has believed in that, and it's carrying over, and you can see how we're going to play this year.
What do you think was the difference maker on Saturday? But what was the thing that made Washington State just edge you guys barely out?
I think it was just a couple of times we just weren't locked down on our details enough. Just the little details that we should be locked in on, keyed into. Think a couple of those times just fell through, and yeah, they're able to make plays on that.
You guys are probably chomping at the bit though to get back on the field, I'm imagining.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can't wait to get back on the field this Saturday in the Kibby.
Just this coaching transition in general, there's so many different moving parts this day and age in college football, with coaches coming and going and players coming and going. You're one of the guys that chose to stay, though. So what's the thing that kept you there, and how would you just describe the way it's gone with this new coaching staff so far?
I decided to stay just because, I just want to finish where I started. I was already
Yeah.
here for years. And then, yeah, once I heard Coach Ford got hired, that was for sure a key reason why I stayed. And, yeah, I think we're going to do some big things this year.
What was the main draw for you to Idaho originally? What were the things that you liked and that you continue to like just about being in Moscow and being a Vandal?
It was close to home, or it was the closest offer I had home to San Diego. So that was key. And then just obviously being able to play in the Kibby. There's not a lot of Kibbies in college football. So that was for sure big time.
It's such a cool arena and also just so different than everywhere else. So it seems like you guys all love it though. What's the thing that gives it such an aura, do you think?
I would just say like we spend all day in the kibby. Like we got study hall in here, the weight room. Like kibby's just more than just a field. We got multi-use to it.
Yeah, it's a cool facility. If you don't know your way around, you can definitely get lost. Like the first couple of times I'm wandering around there, I'm like, where the heck am I going? But then you find your way, and then it sort of makes more sense to you. But it's such a cool deal. Are you old enough to remember like back in the old days when it was on college football, like the video game, and people used? I mean, there was a lot of people that used to be Idaho just so they could play at the Kibby Dome.
I personally don't remember it that much, but yeah,
Yeah.
I look back at it like, yeah, I should have
Yeah,
been.
because it's been a minute. I mean, like 2013 was like when that game stopped being made, and so that's a long time ago now when you really think about it. So, just an interesting fold. But there was a lot of people that were being Idaho. I tell you that back when Idaho was FBS, so you could play in the Kibby Dome and bring a team to prominence or whatever. So, funny times. Isiah King joining us here on Vandals Weekly. It's probably presented in part by Array Real Estate. What do you think are some of the things uh, you guys need to do to make progress as a defense? Obviously, you got a great performance under your belt in week one. Where else do you think you guys can grow just as a total unit?
I think just continue to get better and locking on the details in practice. It all starts in practice. Coach Denson always says he's gonna make practice as hard as he can on us to make the games easy. So I think, well, yeah, once we just all play as a group and do our job, we'll be good.
You're in the QB Dome this weekend with St. Thomas coming to town. So, what's your just initial thoughts on the Tommies? What have you seen out of them so far in your preparation?
They play hard and they play physical. They're gonna want to run the ball on us, and seeing that we're ranked number two in rush defense right now, I think they're for sure gonna. They're gonna use that as motivation.
Keys for you guys to have some success in your home opener on Saturday?
Like I said, just locking on the details. We got to out physical them, stop the run, and I think we'll be in good shape.
Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you taking a couple minutes for us, and best of luck this weekend. We'll catch up down the road, but thanks for stopping in today.
So I appreciate you.
Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any town pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Vandals Weekly back for another week. We're now into the throes of the football season, headed into week two. Vandals coming off a 13-10 loss at Washington State in a battle of the Palouse there in Pullman. Thomas Ford, the head coach of the Vandals, joining us now here on the Big Sky Breakdown. Coach, thanks for being here. First of all, just take us through last week. What were some of your main takeaways from the game against Washington State?
Proud of how hard our kids played. I thought they did a great job being physical. I felt like we really controlled the line of scrimmage, especially in the running game. I mean, you look at statistically, we outrushed them 188-3, and defensively, thought we had a really good start to the season. We had tightened some things up on the back end with some of the pass game stuff, but as far as building our identity, being physical, stopping the run on defense, I thought we did a good job. Kind of similar on offense. We want to establish ourselves as a physical running team, and I think we did that. But overall, just a few too many mistakes offensively, costly penalties, and turnovers were really the difference in the game.
The rushing statistic disparity was striking, certainly. And you guys, I mean, I thought looked tremendous against the run. Is that a matter of attitude, execution? What are the factors that go? I'm sure it's probably a combination of all of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely a combination of both. Attitude, probably just the start. Coach Dennison, our defensive coordinator, really, he's told our guys we'll stop the run at all costs, and that's kind of our mentality on defense. But then I also think our guys have worked really hard in camp. We face an offense that wants to run it in our offense, and I think we did a great job of just having competitive practices. We stayed really healthy on both sides of the ball, up front especially. And so I thought those summer practices really gave us a chance to really practice being physical. It's one thing to be physical and that's your mentality, but you've got to be able to practice it. And I thought we were able to do that all fall camp.
When you practice it and then you desire it, but then you also execute it, and now you have proof of concept against an FBS team. That has to sort of make the message resonate with the guys to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. The players take great pride in stopping the run and being able to run the football. And like you said, whenever you get a chance to do it against an FBS opponent and do it at a high level, I think it gives you confidence and really reinstills the culture you're trying to build.
As you mentioned, look at the box score. Washington State rushed for almost nothing. You guys had a great day on the ground, but then you guys had a little bit of a struggle in the passing game, and they threw it a little bit. So sort of a contrasting styles. What did you think of just the rest of the way that your offense executed on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely got to throw the ball better. I thought Joshua missed a couple throws just because I think just a little bit of a antsiness about him being his kind of first start as a full-time starter, kind of the actual quarterback one of a program. And so I think you saw a little bit of nerves from him in that respect. I did think he ran the ball effectively. I thought he made some good decisions, getting out of trouble on, called passes and, scrambling and getting some first downs. But overall, definitely want to see some improvement from our passing game. And then defensively, just being a little bit better in those tempo, end of half, end of game situations, just having an understanding of where offenses are trying to go, keep guys in bounds and make plays on outbreaking routes when we're in coverages that would allow us to do so.
It was a physical, hard-fought game, and I know you've talked about this before, but just tell me about the ending part of it. It just seemed like you guys got back to being on the same page after a little bit of a kerfuffle after the game.
Yeah, Coach Rogers and I are good. We're neighbors. We're gonna do things over the next few years together in conjunction, pro days, prospect camps, things of that nature. So him and I have developed a good relationship over the last kind of 4 months here, and that at the end really wasn't anything heated towards Coach Rogers. It was one of his players kind of I thought was be a little bit disrespectful on our sideline after the game, and just let him know about it. And emotions are flaring after a rivalry game like that. And so, I wish I would have used a little less colorful language, but I think Coach Rogers understood where I was coming from, and we chatted about it the next day, and we're all good.
Well, it's sort of a reflection of the game, though, right? I mean, I think anybody that's played the game and been in games like that, it does kind of spill over sometimes, for better or worse. But I mean, this is kind of how it goes, right? I mean, you kind of expect a little chippiness after you play a slobber knocker like you guys did.
Yeah, you get in a one possession game that comes down to a last second field goal. If emotions aren't high, it's not a real rivalry, right? So certainly had those feelings at the end of the game.
Well, turn to the page now. Yeah, this is something that we've heard around the country now, where guys are saying, okay, we played well in this game against this FBS, but we didn't win. So the point, you guys are all wanting wins all the time, right? So
Yes.
how do you sort of take the positive, but also don't have your guys like rest on their laurels and say, hey, we played well, we did these things well, but we still need our first victory of the season. How do you sort of take the positive, but not get complacent on the fact that you're still looking for that first win?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like you said, we're here to win games. We don't work out and train, meet, practice to have moral victories. And so I think that was a pretty easy transition for this group. Obviously they were pretty disappointed with the result and kind of felt like that they're going to be in a position this week to be on the other side of that. And so that's our focus, is just, hey, moving on. Yes, we did good things, but good things don't just carry into the next week by default, right? You've got to go work to make things happen. I think our guys really understood that when it came to our Sunday evening meeting, and, they had Monday off and came back to work yesterday getting after it.
Are you ready to tackle your next real estate adventure? Whether you're hunting for your first home or diving into big league land acquisitions, Array Real Estate is in your corner. At Array Real Estate, they are not just a real estate team, they are your agents for life. Array Real Estate's mission? to help you crush your real estate goals one deal at a time. Array Real Estate's roots run deep in the heart of the Pacific Northwest as proud alumni of the University of Idaho. With offices in Coeur d'Alene and Seattle, the team is here to give you a legendary real estate experience. Your success isn't just a goal, it's their top priority. Everything from cozy homes to land development to commercial spaces, Array Real Estate has you covered. They are all about making your real estate dreams come true with a dash of Vandal pride. Ready to make a move? Visit arrayrealestate.com and join the fun on Instagram at ArrayRE. Let Array Real Estate turn your dreams into wins. Array Real Estate, your go-to team for all things real estate and proud sponsors of Vandals Weekly. Array Real Estate will make real estate magic with you. Any initial thoughts on St. Thomas? And I guess first to start with your home opener, being at the Kiwi Dome, you get a chance to be the head coach there in the Kiwi Dome for the first time. So that's probably very exciting for you and your staff.
Yeah, absolutely. With it being the 50th year celebration of the Kiwi Dome and, my first season as the head coach, we're really excited. I think our guys are ready to play in front of our home fans. Now, we traveled really well over there down to Pullman, but I'm really excited to see that dome full. And we've got a quality opponent coming in. St. Thomas has had a lot of success since joining the FCS after a ton of success at the Division III level. Coach Caruso has been there for a long time. He's got a culture going there. I think they do a really good job with a lot of their gadget plays, both on offense and on special teams. So there's a lot to prepare for. And so you can't, like you said, you can't rest on your laurels saying, oh, we played really well. Well, if you don't play really well, you don't prepare really well this week, well, you're going to have similar results and taking an L. And so we're really focused on, not worrying about anything we did last week, good, bad, or indifferent, and really focusing on what we can do to improve this week.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about our player guest this week on Vandals Weekly. That's Isiah King. What an outstanding game he had. He's one of the proven commodities. Certainly been a great player in the Big Sky Conference. So, what did you think of just his sort of debut performance of his senior year?
Gosh, he played really well. Isiah is one of those guys that he's kind of a quiet guy. He's not real flashy, doesn't get real hyped up, but when he's on the field, everybody notices. I mean, it is one of those very clear distinctions when that cat's on the field for us playing defense. And I think he showed the rest of the nation kind of what we see every day. A guy that's going to go out there and play physical. He's going to play really, really hard. And he's got the length and speed that I think can be a mismatch for a lot of players. He's fast and quick, so it's tough to block him as an O lineman. And again, he's got the length and the physical nature about him. So receivers blocking him, and that's not happen either. So he's really a combination type player that I think can do a lot of different things as a blitzer. He can do things in coverage, very versatile that way. And I thought you got to see that on Saturday.
When it comes to then just sort of turning the page into the St. Thomas game, obviously you have a level of knowledge and respect for St. Thomas as a guy that has been in the D3 ranks, et cetera. How do you sort of communicate that to your team, and what is sort of the early week mentality for your football team going into this game?
Yeah, I told our guys you can't just look at the film or look at their height and weights and think, well, they're not as big as those guys or they're not as fast as those guys we just played, because that doesn't matter. What really matters is the preparation for your specific opponent this week. And St. Thomas posed a number of challenges. Like I said, they do some tricky stuff offensively and on special teams. Defensively, they're a pressure-oriented group. And so, I've really told those guys, don't focus so much about the talent on the field, because there's some lower level teams in the Pioneer League that might not look very good on tape. But what you're seeing is St. Thomas dominating those teams. And so what I want our guys to really focus on is not so much who they're playing or what the level of play looks to be on tape, but really who they are as a program mentality wise, which is physical, tough, and then what they do in terms of their schematics, right? The trouble they can give you if you don't prepare properly.
What steps forward do you want to see from your team this week? What areas do you hope you guys make progress in?
Yeah, no, offensively start there. We need to throw the ball better. I think Joshua Wood is a very good passer, and he did not necessarily show that on Saturday night. And so I really want to see some improvement in our passing game. Defensively, want to make sure that we can do a great job with our eyes. We have to be a very disciplined group with all the gadget plays that they could present. And then special teams wise, just making an impact in the return game. I thought our coverage game was very good. We had 5 punts inside the 20, 4 of those 5 inside the 10. And so very proud of the way we covered, but I'd like to see us do a little bit more on the return side as well. Anytime you can get field position in a game where you're playing a very good special teams unit in St. Thomas, you want to make sure that your return units give you a chance to get you that field position to help your offense. And that's going to pay dividends, especially as we get later into the game.
Thomas Ford here on Vandals Weekly. He checks in each week with us here on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. Coach, thanks for being here. Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely, Colter. I appreciate you having me.
There's always a party in Montana, whether you're going to a wedding, a football game, a concert. Montana Party Bus can get you there safe and will take you anywhere in Montana. You can relax with friends in style, luxury, and safety. Western Montana based for local and regional travel within Montana borders. Montana Party Bus is great for both large and small groups with a capacity of up to 30 guests. If you want to elevate your event, call them anytime, 406-200-8096. You can also visit mtpartybus.com. Travel anywhere in Montana in style with the Montana Party Bus.